Hey Trader, it's Akil here, and welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Thank you as always for joining me, and if you are new, I'm a professional trader as well as a trading coach over at tier1trading.com. Today I've got a very fun episode for you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about something called free range parenting. And of course, we're going to make it trading related as well and address the question of, can the markets be your trading mentor? So I think it's going to be a very fun conversation. I know it's going to be a very fun conversation. But as always, before you get started, do me a favor. Make sure you take some time to subscribe to this podcast. Please leave me a rating. Please leave me a review. That way we can grow this into the biggest and best trading podcast out there. Hey guys, Akil here. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update on some things before we hop into today's episode. Recently, there has been an increased demand for more Trading Coach podcast episodes. And you know what? I got to give the people what they want. So what we're doing is we're switching up the format. It used to be a twice a week format, a Monday and Thursday episode. We're now going to give you guys one more per week, and we're going to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday release schedule. So you guys have spoken, you have fallen in love with what we're doing here. So it's only right that we give the people what they want. So I appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. But we'll talk about, we talk about trading all day as far as the technicals. We did that for 3 hours this morning. Let's talk about something else. And I titled today's podcast episode, Free Range Trading, right? And let me ask you guys a question. How many of you guys out there are parents? How many of you are parents? Give me some hearts, give me a yes, whatever, thumbs up, whatever you got to do where you're at. How many guys are parents? All right, have you guys ever heard of free range trading? Or free range parenting? Does that term ring a bell? I read about it for the first time in 3 months. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. It's going to be the best/worst part of your life. I've got a 3-year-old, so I'm still new to the parenting thing. But the wife and I, we were sitting down at night. Yeah, that's what I thought. Chickens, right? We're sitting down at night, and I'm going through my computer and looking at the email, and a little news thing comes across that says the state of Utah here in the U.S. has legalized free-range parenting. And the first thing, like you, that came to my mind is, I got some free-range eggs. That's the type of eggs I buy. Or I'm like, what are? It was weird. My mom. I had just finished watching the series Waco. So my mind is in a different place. I'm like, okay, is this like some type of cult action? Are they letting these kids just roam like naked in this fenced off back part? Who knows what's going on? It was weird. I never heard the term. So we start reading it, right? And I'll give you guys a brief rundown of what free range parenting is. And this is going to relate to trading in a little bit. I want to give you guys some backstory, right? So free range parenting essentially is parents that allow their children to have freedom. So, for example, you allow your kids to go on public transportation. You allow your kids to walk home from school. You allow your kids to go to the park by themselves. Or if you have a older brother, little sister, like 2 siblings, the older one can walk the younger one to the park. Or if you're running into the shop for the store for a quick errand, you can leave your kid in the car while you go in to pick up whatever you need to pick up, right? Does that sound familiar to anybody? Was anybody raised like that? Or have any of you guys raised your kids where that kind of seems like the norm? Because I know it was the norm for me. And yeah, someone just wrote in, not in this day and age. And yeah, and I read it. I'm like, this is now legal. I looked over to my wife. I'm like, babe, when was this not made legal? Like, I remember growing up and same thing. I walked to the park. I took the bus to school, and I thought this was just normal. I'm glad I read it. And they showed some examples of like, there was one mother, this is one of the weirdest ones. One mother was taken to court. She had to defend herself in court in order to keep her kids because she had a 10-year-old son, 10 years old, And she allowed that 10-year-old son to walk his 6-year-old sister to and from the park by himself. 10 years old. And some neighbor called on it and said these kids are by themselves, and she got in trouble, and she was able to keep the kids, but it was like, it's ridiculous. And I called my dad because, you know, I asked him, I said, hey, what do you think about this? And me and my dad had a good conversation about, you know, me growing up. I'm like, I'm 32 now. So if I remember correctly, Dad, I was taking the bus at like, 8, 9 years old to school? Or I was walking home from school ever since kindergarten. I'm like, is that true or is that just in my head? He's like, yeah, that's true. And we went on talking about a few stories, and one of the stories was about, I used to take the bus to middle school, was about how I got lost on the bus, right? I'm from Philadelphia, so public transportation isn't the best, but there's a whole bunch of them, and some of them take the same route and then branch off from the other routes. And there were 2 buses I remember. One was called the H bus, one was called the XH bus, right? And once they got to a certain point, they followed the same route, but then right before where I lived at, they would break apart and go in opposite directions. And I remember one day catching the bus, and it wasn't my fault, I promise, but the light must have been out on the X. So I got on the H bus, which is the one I needed to take home, and I remember that it took me to the wrong place, and I had to get off because it was really an XH bus, just the light was off. I had to get off, and I had to find my way home. And that was one of the most valuable learning experiences of my life. Getting lost, or accomplishments maybe, getting lost and figuring out how to get back home. And I remember my dad was very proud of me. And I think that's part of growing up. Now, just to touch on the parent thing before we get on trading, I don't judge parents. I believe parenting is an art and a skill, very similar to trading, how you'll never become a perfect parent. You just learn and get better at it. Part of parenting is knowing your children. So I don't believe that there should be an age limit of like, obviously my 3-year-old should not be walking to the park by himself. But you may have a 9-year-old that is extremely mature, extremely responsible, and it's your job as a parent to trust that they're going to make the best judgment in getting to the park and back by themselves. At the same time, someone else may have a 10-year-old. You may have a very immature 10-year-old and you're like, no way. So I think it depends on the parent and making a judgment call based on knowing your kids. And as a parent, guess what? You should probably know your kids. Right? But this whole topic, and again, it's, you know, different people are going to have different opinions on it. It all depends on you as a parent. And this day and age, you know, for worse, I guess, or I guess for better and for worse, is different, right? There's a lot more things to worry about out there. And as parents, we're also a lot more, I don't want to say softer, but we're a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Help me out, guys. What's the word I'm looking for? We're a lot more, not paranoid, caring. Someone give me a word. Come on, I'm stuck. This is a live podcast. It's going to sound dumb if I can't think of a word here. We're a lot more cautious. We're a lot more cautious with what we do, and everyone is quick to judge. Yeah, liberal. But it reminded me of a question I got on Twitter, the other day from a trader. He says it was a long feed, and you guys are sharing stories. I love it. My cousin used to drop me off at elementary school every day, and then they walked to high school. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The school, the elementary school that my kid's going to go to is literally a 5-minute walk away. And now I'm being told that like my kid can't walk home from his school once he's in kindergarten. Like, I don't know, but we can go on forever, but I'm supposed to make this trading related because it is the Trading Coach podcast, by the way, which airs every Monday and Thursday on almost every podcast site you can think of. Shameless plug. But I got a message on Twitter the other day. Asking, he says, Akil, or it was a bunch of us in it. I was one of the people tagged in it. They always say, get a mentor to teach you and guide you. I'm talking about trading, of course. Been there, done that. And I think at the end of the day, The market is the ultimate mentor in trading. And before I give my opinion, I want to hear, what do you guys think about that? They always say get a teacher, get a coach, get a mentor to help you with trading. But at the end of the day, the market is the ultimate mentor. What do you guys think? True, false, somewhat true, somewhat false, maybe, maybe not. I'd love to hear your opinion on it. And yes, society is different, yeah, these days. Somewhat. You are the best mentor to yourself. True, you think it's true. Experience is the best teacher. The market humbled me. Come on, Facebook Live, you're slacking. Learn now, trade later. True. Screen time is the best teacher. Yes, I agree. What if I told you I strongly disagreed? Would you judge me? Would you think that I'm perhaps biased because I happen to be a trading coach that sells educational content? You always got to put that out there because people are like, well, of course you would say that. You're a trading coach, right? You have a business that teaches other people how to trade. Why would you agree with that? Wouldn't that hurt your business? First of all, I don't really care about that stuff. You guys know me. I'm not a salesman. I don't go out and tell you to buy my stuff. I just put out good content. And when you're ready, if you find it valuable, then you purchase it. But I'll tell you this. I believe, and someone on Facebook, hey, Matthias, he said 50-50. He said, without a mentor, the market will only put you down. Once after you have a mentor and complete the steps on your journey, the market is confirmation of what you learned. And I agree with that. Because in general, right, I think you would agree, a mentor and a coach, right, by definition, they are people that are trying to help you, right? Give me some hearts, give me some yes if you agree, right? A mentor, a coach, the goal is they are trying to help you achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. I think we can all agree on that. The market has one job, guys. Do you know what the market's job is? The market is not your friend. If you think the market is your friend, you are sadly mistaken. The market has one job and one job only. The market's job is to bring as much pain to as many participants as possible. You heard me? Bring as much pain to as many participants as possible. That is the market's only job. It is not your friend. It does not want you to succeed. Okay? And because of that, I wouldn't use the word coach or mentor with the market. I think the market could be a great tool to learn, the best tool to learn. Nothing better than hands-on experience. But let me ask you guys this. When you trade and you're wrong, does the market tell you what to do in order to be right? Let's think about that for a second. When you're trading whatever strategy you want to trade and it doesn't work, does the market give you a little nudge and say, hey, maybe you should try this? Or does it take your money and just run? It takes your money and just runs. And then what do? You go to the next strategy. Because I know what the saying is. Well, Akil, you learn from your mistakes, right? If you do something wrong, the market shows you what you did wrong and you try something else. How many of you guys have tried multiple trading strategies, systems, techniques, and still continued to lose money? Give me some hearts. Give me some yeses. How many of you guys have bounced from system to magic system to magic system only to continue losing? Me? I have. Everyone has. Yep. That wouldn't happen if the market was a true coach. A coach wants to see you succeed. A teacher wants to see you succeed. A teacher is going to help you. So I do think there's a difference. Now, here's how I think about it. Because the guy went on to say, and many of you guys are saying, well, there's nothing better than hands-on experience. There's nothing better than making mistakes. And I believe in that, right? What turned around my trading career, guys, was making mistakes. I started jotting down all of the mistakes that I was making. I started keeping track of them. And I started saying, okay, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I'm going to eliminate a minimum of 1 mistake per month. So if January I made 20 mistakes, in February my only goal was to make 19. If I ended up making only 16 in February, then March I was only going to make 15 and slowly eliminate those mistakes. And that helped turn my trading around. But it was being mentored, it was being coached, which gave me the skill of what I needed to do. And I think back to that story I told you about when I got lost on the bus, right? The only reason I was able to find my way home, right? I wasn't born with the ability to find my way home. Someone taught me. Someone ingrained that skill in me, right? My dad taught me what to do if I get lost. Now, that experience of getting lost, I learned a lot from it. But if I was never taught how to find my way out of a bad situation, do you think I ever would have gotten home? I'm asking you, yes or no? The markets won't tell you how to get home. Your training will tell you that. And only after you have that skill and you know what you should be doing, only then can you take that skill, shift it into the markets, and then use what the markets are showing you as a learning opportunity. Only after you know what you're supposed to do. So when you have, for example, in trading, when you have a system and you have a rules-based system, meaning you have a trading strategy that you follow and there's rules you're supposed to do. You're supposed to look for this, look for that, then do this, right? After you have all that set up, and then you take it into the market and you still lose because you've made some type of psychological mistake, which is the reason most traders fail. It's not the system, it's that you're making a psychological mistake and the market doesn't tell you you're making a psychological mistake. You think everything's technical. So therefore you keep bouncing technical system and losing. But once you have an idea of what you're doing, and then you make that mistake in the market, you could then go back and figure out what you've done wrong. Right? So you need that baseline of education, that baseline of knowledge to really understand the lessons that the market will teach you. The market is throwing out knowledge, yes, but if you don't have the ability to take in and interpret that knowledge, it's pointless. It is pointless. We got somebody on Facebook saying, yeah, your dad gave you the tools and the how to use them so then you could apply them. And the trader went on, this was a very good conversation. The trader went on and said, hey, no mentor or trading coach is going to stop you from making a dumb trade at 11 o'clock at night when you're doing something you're not supposed to. And that's true. Because here's the deal, guys. At the end of the day, you're accountable for yourself. Your trading coach can't control you. I coach thousands of traders. Guess what I can't do? I cannot be there live with each and every trader and slap their hand when they're about to make a stupid trade. I can't do that. I can't stop you from breaking a rule. I can't stop you from taking targets early. I can't stop you from moving stops back. I can't stop you from getting that analysis paralysis. Your trading coach, your trading mentor, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a book. It could be a website. Whatever it is that you use to learn. They can't stop you from taking actions. You have to do that. You have to accept blame. When you make a mistake, it's on you. At the same time, when you succeed, right? We get this a lot. Oh, thank you, man. If it wasn't for your guidance, I wouldn't have had this great month. No. That's on you. because you executed it. Take the glory, take the consequence. It's on you. But I do think you need to be showed, right? You need to be shown what to do by some type of coach or some type of mentor. And again, it doesn't have to be a person. It could be books. There are some very great books out there on trading psychology. Maybe you self-educate, but you're still taking something other than the market and using that to help your trading, because the market doesn't touch on psychology. The market doesn't touch on strategies. The market just does what it does. And you either benefit from it or you get eaten alive. But it doesn't teach you, right? It gives you experience, yes, but it does not teach you. And you can't use that experience that the market is showing you. You can't gain that experience unless you know exactly what you're looking at. Unless you know exactly what the market is showing you. Because if you don't, you're just going to be in the cycle of failing over and over and over again. You're going to try something different each and every time. You're going to be met with the same result because 9 times out of 10, it's not your system, it's you, until you eventually go broke. That's what happens. 90% of traders fail. There's a reason for that. So that's what I want to talk about today, guys. 20 minutes, perfect. I like keeping these podcasts short and sweet so you can catch it during a lunch break, catch it during the commute. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, the Trading Coach Podcast. If you're over on iTunes especially, please leave me a review. As I mentioned last time, my goal is to grow this into the best trading podcast out there, and I cannot do that without your help. So if you take a few seconds to leave me a review, click the 5 stars or type something in like, hey man, like what you're doing, keep it up. That is a massive help and it means the world to me. And of course, you can do that on any site that you're listening to. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Let me know on the Twitter. Let me know in the comment section under this Facebook Live. This is 2 consecutive weeks that I've done it in a row. If you like kind of this live hangout of the podcast, let me know. You guys know that the reason I started the podcast was because you guys requested it. So let me know if this is something that you like, meeting up live like this for a short period of time. And if it is, we can make a routine out of it. If it's not, then I can spend 20 minutes doing something else. But let me know. I do read your feedback, as you guys know, and I take that into account on how I base my education and whatnot. So I appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, plan your trade, trade your plan. Take care. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I absolutely love the discussion point of, can the market be your mentor? I don't think there's any one right or wrong answer. It's a little bit of a combination of yes, but that's up to you guys to make your own decision on that. Either way, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys hanging with me live, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. As always, please subscribe, please rate, and please review.